It was in 2014 that Maruti Suzuki launched the Ciaz, and since then the car has been one of the top selling cars in its segment. But that was 2014, this is 2018, and now with the new Honda City and the new Verna and the new Toyota Yaris coming in, it was time that Ciaz got an update to stay competitive. And that is precisely what Maruti Suzuki has done with the new Ciaz that we have been driving over the past 2 days. Now, are these updates good enough to keep the Ciaz still in the game? Well, this is what we are going to answer over the next few minutes. Starting off with the design, well, the maximum number of changes are the front of the new Ciaz, and the most notable one is the headlamp. The headlamp is now a lot sharper, it's got a new cluster inside, it looks much sleeker, and the biggest addition is this strip, the LED DRL, which looks fabulous because of its texture. It's not one of those dotted LEDs, it's a continuous streak LED, and that gives the front a very premium appeal. Now the other change is the grille. It's a new grille, the design looks very nice, and there is a lot of chrome again on both sides and again on the bezels of the fog lamp. Now this chrome is something that Indians love a lot, and this has been done tastefully. So this, along with the new grille and the headlamp, gives the Ciaz a more upmarket feel, and that is precisely what the car needed. So these are primarily the changes at the front. Now these are subtle changes, but they ensure that the Ciaz now looks much more premium. And one of the other welcome changes in the car is the new alloy wheel design. Now these smoked alloys look fabulous, especially in the 16-inch size. And as you move along the side, well, there's not much of a change. The lines still remain the same as on the new Ciaz. The sheet metal hasn't changed, the profile is still the same, and the silhouette is still the same. Now the other change at the rear is the new cluster in the tail lamp. The tail lamp now is LED, and this looks much better, especially in dark. And of course there's some addition of chrome in the lower rear bumper. So while the overall design updates are very subtle and minimalistic in nature, the effect of these is quite significant, and that is precisely the best way to describe the design update of the new Ciaz. It's subtlety with effectiveness. Now once you step inside the cabin of the new Ciaz, well, the changes are quite subtle in nature, just like the exterior, but again they are quite effective. Now one of the biggest changes here is in the dashboard, wherein Maruti has given the car a forward finish. Now this is something that just lifts the overall premium appeal of the cabin and just adds a little more zing to the overall appeal of the cabin. Again, the instrument cluster, it's a completely new instrument cluster. The lighting is different, looks very good, especially in dark. And the MID, the multi-information display in the middle, again, that's brand new. It gets a host of new information displays, and it also gets some features which are there in the Baleno, which is wherein you can view the amount of power and torque you're using at any given point of time. And this is something that you would find on much expensive cars like the BMW, and it's not a great feature wherein you can say it's great in terms of usability, but it's just one of those small things that adds a little bit of feel-good factor. Now apart from this, there aren't much changes inside the cabin. It's pretty much the same thing. You've got the same touchscreen infotainment system with slight updates. It's a good system to use, gives you all the necessary information in a very easy to read manner. It's got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth connectivity, navigation. So in terms of features, it's there right up there with the segment standards. You've got climate control up front. In terms of practicality, if you talk about space, there's a lot of cubby holes around. You can easily place 1 liter water bottles, and you still will have space for a lot more. There's a large cavity here in the center console, which also gives you access to a 12-volt charging socket, USB and aux in point. One more new addition inside the cabin is the cruise control in the Ciaz. So the new Ciaz gets cruise control. So if you're going to drive this car regularly on highways, this is something that is going to give you a bit more comfort. The variant we are driving right now is the petrol automatic, and the automatic also gets ESP and hill hold assist. Now these are two safety features that are available only with the automatic version. If you opt for the 5-speed manual variant, these two things will not be included. Now the rear seat has always been a forte for the Ciaz. It has offered exceptional legroom and great headroom, and that hasn't changed with the new Ciaz, thankfully. There are no changes, so it's still the same, and that's a good thing because you still have a lot of legroom. Now I'm 5 feet 8 inches for a reference, and you can just see the vast amount of legroom I have. So even if you are someone who's 6 feet tall or more than 6 feet tall, you will never face problems with legroom, even if you have a taller driver sitting up front. Headroom again is no problem. The Ciaz does not have a coupe like sloping roofline, so that gives you a lot of headroom. Again, these backrests adjustable, they're very good, effective, they provide good support. So if you're going to be in this seat for a long time on long drives, you're going to be comfortable. And if you are someone who's looking for a chauffeur-driven car, well, I think the Ciaz is one of the best cars you can buy right now. It offers an exceptional package in the form of great space and a very good rear seat, which gives you a good amount of cushioning. The rear backrest angle is good. It's got functional headrests. You've got a good center armrest. Again, it's got good padding. So in terms of being at the rear seat, well, this is one of the best part about the Ciaz. Now the biggest change in the new Ciaz is in the powertrain, wherein you get an all-new engine. So what you have here is the K15B 1.5 litre petrol engine. This replaces the old 1.4 litre petrol engine, and this is a welcome change in the car, because the old Ciaz was just about adequately powered, but then there was always this feeling that it might just be able to do with a little more power, and that is precisely what has been taken care of in this update with the new engine. With a power output of 103 horsepower and 138 Newton meters of torque, the engine moves the Ciaz in a much more comfortable manner, and getting the car off the line or even within the gears, it's a lot more easier. Overtaking on highways has become easier. You don't really need to rev it up that high to build momentum. So this is a very welcome change. Now, the other good part is that despite this increase in power and torque, the fuel efficiency hasn't gone down. In fact, it has increased. And as a result of this, the petrol car delivers over 21 kilometers to a litre. Now, these are claimed figures. Now, this drive that we are doing right now is a pretty short one. But when we do a detailed road test, we'll have better figures to speak of. However, given the numbers that I'm getting on the MID right now, we've been driving this mostly on the highway, and we've been pushing the car hard, but despite that, it has been returning us about 11 kilometers to a litre. So expect your car which is running properly and is running in a much saner manner to deliver better fuel efficiency.
A highlight of the new petrol engine in the Ciaz is the inclusion of the SHVS system, which is the Smart Hybrid Vehicles system. Now, the SHVS system, that is the mild hybrid system, has been retained from the old Ciaz and will be available on all variants of the new Ciaz. The key change here, however, is that the new system also comes with a lithium-ion battery pack and a lead-acid battery pack, unlike the older system which only had a lead-acid battery pack. So what this does is, the system is now more powerful. It regenerates braking energy. It also helps start-stop system and provides assist to the engine while acceleration, as a result of which the overall fuel efficiency goes up despite the increase in weight and power.
In terms of gearbox, well, there are two options. You have a 5-speed manual and you also have a 4-speed AT. Now, apart from the changes made to the gearbox to suit the new engine, there have also been a change in the ratios, specifically the second gear, which has been shortened a bit now, and this improves the drivability. Now, the 5-speed manual transmission is the one that complements the engine really well. So if you opt for the manual variant, driving the new Ciaz is going to be a better experience with the added power. And the 4-speed automatic transmission now is a unit that works well primarily in urban environment. So if you're driving regularly in traffic in city, it's going to deliver good performance to you. You'll have no hassles with it. But on the highway, when you're doing triple digit speeds, that is where the 4-speed AT transmission starts to run out of steam, and that's where one tends to feel that a fifth cog would have really helped matters. In terms of smoothness, well, again, this engine is very nice if you're coasting along, if you're just cruising even at triple digit speeds on highway. The cabin is very silent. There is hardly any vibration from the engine, and that makes the Ciaz a very comfortable car, and it goes in sync with the interior space. So there's a lot of space, so that comfort theme just carries forward with the smooth powertrain. In terms of mechanical changes, one other positive change in the Ciaz is the retuned suspension. So what the engineers have done is they have retuned the suspension. It's the same suspension from the older Ciaz, but just fine-tuning it a bit has improved the ride quality, especially at slow speed. So what that does is, now when you're driving over potholes or broken surfaces or expansion joints on flyovers, the ride is much more composed, and the ride quality is much more cushioned. So again, it just extends the theme of comfort for the car. In terms of handling, well, the Ciaz has always been a neutral car. It's not a driver-oriented car, but it's not a nervous handler as well. So it's stable at triple digit speeds. The braking again is good. It does not move around sideways when you're braking hard. The ABS again does a good job of keeping things in control. Completing the safety package for the Ciaz are dual airbags at the front, and of course you have got ABS, and as I told you earlier, ESP and hill holder assist with the automatic variant only. There's also a reverse parking camera and with static guidelines. So the camera resolution again is good. So parking the Ciaz, despite it being a fairly long car, is pretty easy. Visibility again is good all around. So that's a plus point. So there's no change in it. The Ciaz has always been a good car to drive in terms of visibility, and that just continues. One change which isn't pleasant on the Ciaz is the steering. Now, the steering wheel for some reason is a bit heavier than the earlier Ciaz, especially at slow speeds or when stationary, and that just takes away a bit of the comfort, because especially when you're trying to park it in tight spaces, you have to make an effort to really move the steering, and the steering has also lost some of the feedback compared to the earlier version. So this feels a bit more vague now, although it's better weighted. It feels heavier as the speed builds up, but the feedback is just not there. It feels slightly vague. In addition to the petrol engine, there's a diesel option as well, which is the same as offered on the earlier Ciaz, the 1.3 litre DDIS engine. That's pretty much the bread and butter engine for Maruti Suzuki. That continues, no changes on that car. So what you get if you opt for the diesel variant is the new feature and the updated design. So now it's time to sum up the facelift of the new Ciaz. And well, to sum it up, the perfect way would be that there are subtle but notable changes made to the overall car, the exterior, the interior. The powertrain is the biggest change. When you opt for the petrol variant, you get a brand new petrol engine. So there are a lot of good things in this new update. However, the new Ciaz isn't short of drawbacks. There are some areas where the Ciaz leaves room for improvement, and these include the 4-speed automatic transmission that I talked about to you earlier, and in terms of the design approach too, I think there is a bit more that the designers could have done with the side profile and the rear to give the Ciaz a more fresh look overall. And even in the interiors, they could have probably brought in a little more zing, played around with the dashboard colors, given it a little more energy, because the competition is very tough. But again, Maruti has stuck to its game and delivered what it does best, that is value for money. And that's where the pricing comes into play. A starting price of rupees 8.19 lakh and going all the way up to 10.97 lakh for the top diesel and the top petrol automatic, the Ciaz offers exceptional value for money. Now, when you compare this price to the likes of the Hyundai Verna, the Honda City or the Toyota Yaris, the Ciaz suddenly starts feeling very good. And that is because Ciaz at its price offers a very well balanced package in terms of features, in terms of comfort, refinement and overall design appeal. So who is the new Ciaz suitable for? Well, if you are someone who's looking for a comfortable car that isn't very expensive to buy but doesn't compromise in terms of features and gives you good space and great comfort, keeps your family comfortable and safe, well, the Ciaz is the best buy for you right now. It is this competitive pricing and the strong value for money equation that has kept the Ciaz at the top of the segment for a long time, and with this update, that value for money equation just gets better, and I'm sure that in the months to come, the Ciaz is going to be the car to beat when it comes to sales volumes again. If you found this video to be informative and useful, please hit that like button and do not forget to share it as well. For anything else from the world of wheels, please log on to www.expressdrives.com and follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well. Till the next time we meet again, please obey all traffic rules, wear a seatbelt and a helmet when riding a two-wheeler.